I wanted to listen to it and understand just by listening to it. Right. And if you can't do that, then in my opinion, it fails as like an expressive piece of like art. All right, well, it's time for musical musings.
We're going to talk about marble statues tonight.
Yeah, because we wanted to kind of talk about what we stand for. Because you hear it like all the time, like, oh, if you're an online brand or whatever bullshit, you gotta stand for something.
Yeah.
And like, we kind of struggle to like figure out what we like want to stand for as like a band or whatever. Because it's like, I don't know, politics are lame. Like,
it's like scary to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
We knew we were going to get some pushback on like the Kanye video.
Well, we're going to get into that in a little bit. But,
yeah, like,
you know, there's a lot of different things we could stand for, but what we ultimately realized.
Well, like, what is marble statue? Because we know what we stand for as like individuals.
Sure.
But like, what does marble statues stand for?
Right.
And yeah, I'll let you.
Well, I guess when you put it that way, it reminds me of why we're named marble statues, which is like the quote, the Michelangelo quote about the statue is already inside the block of marble. I simply remove the pieces until I find it or whatever.
Right.
So there's something about like personal growth.
Yeah.
And like discovering yourself,
your true self
through art is like kind of part of it. But but something that we kind of realized is like we're music nerds.
Yeah. Well, what was it that like one of your ex-girlfriends or something one time you were talking about just some whatever it was, and she was like, I don't know that much about anything. Like, you're a nerd, dude.
Yeah. I was talking about my drum set.
and we do that with like pretty much everything we get into. We like learn everything we can about it, which we realize like kind of isn't normal. Took us a while to kind of realize that, but obviously music is one of the most important things in the world to us.
So we're music nerds. So what we stand for is like good music.
Good music, yeah.
I mean, come on.
It's simple.
It's simple. We stand for good music and putting the music first. Like when we create a song, like we put the music first and like whatever else, you know what I mean? Like ego, opinions, all that shit. We put the music first. We first and foremost want to make like a good piece of music.
Right. Well, and when we talk about other people's music, we talk about the music first, not the artist or whatever.
And that I'm going to get into that more, but yeah.
I remember one time we were having an argument with a friend about like how music is like subjective, so you can't really say if it's good or bad. It's just like if you like it or not.
I don't even remember who you're talking about.
I'm not going to say a name.
Don't say it now, but there is an objective way to analyze music. Yeah. Like to say whether it's good or bad.
There are principles of art that makes it like actually aesthetically enjoyable.
And it's not to say that you can't break those.
Oh yeah.
But when you break them, you have to fully understand them so that you break them in a tasteful way.
Yeah, you learn the rules so you know how to break them.
Like for an example, and I think the reason why I learned all those so deeply is because drums are very rule driven.
Yeah.
Especially in like modern music, the snare happens on 2 and 4.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
And if you reverse that and put it on 1 and 3...
it's going to sound like shit.
It's going to sound stupid.
Yeah.
Like, it's just going to sound bad. And that's not to say that you can't do it well. And so there's things like that I look for when I'm, like, analyzing music. But I guess, so we've been kind of teasing it, but I'm going to talk about the Kanye review that I did because there was a lot of buzz around it. And I think that we apparently we did pick a good thing to stand for. Yeah. Because it did generate a lot of conversation.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's a little polarizing, but our goal is to get people talking.
But yeah, so, exactly. I mean, when you stand for something, it's going to be polarizing.
Yeah.
And so, like, I want to talk about why I started doing the album reviews.
Right.
Because I've done a Billie Eilish one, and I did Kanye.
Well, and you're planning on doing more of them, too.
Well, and I'm going to do a lot more, too. But, like, why did I do the reviews? well, it's because I'm a music nerd. The things that I talked about in my reviews are what goes through my head when I listen to any piece of music.
So it's something that you're doing anyways.
I'm literally doing it 24/7. So I was like, oh, why don't I just channel this into a new piece of like, or, you know, I guess a review isn't a piece of art, but like in my brain, anytime I work on something real hard, it's like, you know what I mean? It's like a piece of art.
Well,
but
yeah, and it's like, why not just share your unique perspective with our audience?
Exactly, because I got my first drum set when I was 11.
Yeah.
And so I've been playing drums for almost 20 years now.
Right.
And I had a xylophone kit or whatever, a bell kit. I think when I was like 9 or something.
Yeah, I remember you playing with that thing and like a tape recorder.
I wrote. It was shit, but I literally wrote a song on that thing.
Yeah, he was like, it was like a little like
boom,
ding 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 and
boom, bing, bing, or whatever.
And then he was like strumming the guitar with the other hand and singing.
No, it wasn't the guitar. It was the drum. I was hitting.
Oh, okay.
Because I had a bell kit and a snare drum, and so I was playing the bell kit with one hand and the snare with the other hand. And yeah, it sounded like something a 9-year-old would be doing.
Yeah.
But I've been writing music since I was like 9. You know what I mean? So I've been like developing this skill. For it's a lifelong kind of deal.
Well, and I saw a comment that was kind of like, why do you guys care about like
Kanye
mainstream,
right? And
whatever?
That's what I wanted to talk about next, which is I wanted to give my perspective. I think I have a unique perspective to give on like popular art. Well, I guess is
Anthony Fantano gave it a 7, and I was surprised about that.
Yeah. Well, but he doesn't make music.
No, he doesn't make music, though.
He's just a critic.
Yeah.
Which is why I was like, that's part of why I decided to go ahead and do it, is because I was like...
Yeah, because people come at him all the time like, oh, you don't even make music. Yeah. What right do you have? Like, I guess, I
was like,
they can't say that to you.
Like, my biggest passion in life is writing music.
Right.
And, like, doing it well. Doing it as well as I can. So, like... and I think it's important, like... Yeah, we're a shitty little indie band or whatever, but like, it's important if you're trying to do music as a career to
pay attention to what's going on in the industry.
What's going on in the industry.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's why I'm doing reviews of these like popular artists, and I want to do some reviews of like indie artists and or even like go back and do like, because I mentioned Pink Floyd Wish You Were Here in my Kanye review, which would be fun to go back and do that one. But even that one, like I said in that video, it's not a 10. Like, I have criticisms of that album, even though I think that's like one of the great albums of all time. You know what I mean? I still... my brain doesn't stop just because I like it. You know what I mean? It still critiques.
Well, I remember like being younger, and before I like really started making music and all that stuff, it was just like when I heard something or saw something, it was like if I liked it, then it was the best thing ever.
Right.
You can't say anything bad about it because it's great. Like, what do you mean? I like it. And there's also this like impression that I've had of like things just existing or like being set in stone, but like at the end of the day, it's people doing all this stuff. There's a human on the other end of it.
There are people, there are time constraints,
Yeah.
there are technological constraints, there's all that kind of stuff. Because just briefly, I'll bring up The Hobbit. Because the Lord of the Rings trilogy is still considered like one of the best film trilogies ever made.
Yeah.
But The Hobbit is trash.
It
like
sucks.
I still watch those movies, and I still feel something when I watch those movies because I read The Hobbit as a kid, and like,
and they killed themselves to make those movies happen.
And they put their heart and soul to try to make those movies happen.
They were like gonna die.
They were under time constraints and like budget constraints, all that stuff. So like, putting your heart and soul into something is not a guarantee that it's going to be good.
Right.
Like, which is something. There was one of the criticisms of my review is like, oh well, he tried so hard, and it's like.
Yeah, but you put your heart and soul into that album review.
But again, it just goes back to I'm trying to be objective when I analyze.
Yeah.
Like when objectively, the Hobbit movies are not as good as the original Lord of the Rings movies. But you know what I mean? Like, not like subjectively, or I guess like my emotions, I still like them. You know what I mean? But the one thing I wanted to say is my review of the Kanye album was very negative because from my analysis of it, like that I'm doing and trying to be dispassionate about, like I didn't look up anything or read any reviews or whatever, or sorry, not read any reviews, read any interviews is what I was trying to say. And like find out what everything was about or like, you know, all that kind of stuff. I just wanted to know is like if I listen to the music and only listen to the music, does the music like speak for itself?
Right.
And I did not find that it did. But but it's okay if you like the album or any of the songs on it, because like I said in the review, there are like very catchy hooks.
There's some really good ideas
There's
on
some
it,
great
which is why to me it's so frustrating because it has so much potential.
It did have a lot of potential, but I want to talk about like the hooks specifically, because what hooks are in my brain is their sugar.
Yeah.
Their ear candy.
Right.
And so
it's the thing that keeps you coming back.
We all like Twinkies.
Yeah.
But no one is saying that Twinkies are culinary masterpieces. You know what I mean? Like Gordon Ramsay's not out here, the Twinkie is like this genius, blend of bread and cream.
Dude, I want to watch a video of him eating a Twinkie. I bet he would like spit it out.
I'm sure he likes them. I'm sure he likes Twinkies.
You think he does?
Dude. Everybody likes Twinkies. That's my whole point. Is everybody likes the catchy hooks.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean
there's
that
no substance there.
That doesn't mean it. Yeah, it's like a.
He needs some meat and potatoes.
And then I guess the last piece, because I wanted to upload this little chat, this musical musings to YouTube, and kind of as kind of an amendment to the album review, because I went pretty hard on the first track of the album, which is called Donda Chant.
Oh yeah.
And it's just somebody going like Donda, 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 Donda.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this is super weird. I don't like it, and like, well, whatever. You watch my review. You can see what I said about it. But I did find out, and I'm not 100% sure if this is true because I saw it on a TikTok. But apparently that is. The person is saying it in the same rhythm and like speed as like her EKG as she was passing away.
Right.
Which
like when you told me that, it kind of gave me chills. I was like, oh,
that is like, it's kind of a nice sentiment. And again, like I said in the review, I'm not trash talking his family or anything like that.
Right.
And like I said, it's a nice sentiment.
The execution could have been better.
The execution, I think, like I said, I wanted to listen to it and understand just by listening to it. Right. And if you can't do that, then in my opinion, it fails as like an expressive piece of like art.
He could have had some like hospital sounds, like doctors talking in the background, or like the little beep or something. Just like, I don't know, anything to give it context.
Yeah.
I think that the album sounds really empty in a lot of songs.
Yes.
And I think that's the main thing it's lacking is like the context for everything else to be happening in.
Right. Well, especially like the lack of drums.
Yeah.
Make it so that there's no context for the rhythmic vocals.
Like how can you?
Which I already went into all that in the album review, so go watch that. But yeah, so I guess it's not really an apology, but I did want to acknowledge that there was a deeper meaning to that track. Because in the album review, I'm kind of just like, this is so stupid and ridiculous. But there was a little bit deeper meaning that I was missing because I didn't like read whatever about it. You know what I mean? But again, like I said,
you're not saying anything to hurt anybody's feelings or be offensive. You're literally just trying to give the best analysis of the music that you can.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, is fair.
And that's, so you know what? That's all I have to say about that. I think I explained myself pretty well.
We got a lot of comments. Yes, I think it's almost funny that you guys got so much heat for the review. I liked it. I historically like Kanye, but you can definitely see how he struggled with his mental health through the last few releases, which, I can definitely... I feel like he was just under so much freaking pressure that maybe some of it he put on himself, that like this is supposed to be the best thing he's ever done. Yeah. And like people were waiting for it. He kept delaying the album. Yeah. He like locked himself in a freaking stadium to make it and everything. Yeah. And it's like, you can definitely see the mental health issues and struggles. So like, I feel for the guy too, because like I feel like he's at a level of success where like he doesn't really have any like real human connections anymore. Everyone just wants something from him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I wanted to read a comment I saw because
Go for
I
it.
felt like they put it better than I could have said. Don't amend or apologize for your opinion. You shouldn't have to read or research to enjoy music and artist releases, in my humble opinion. Yeah.
Appreciate that.